Hello, everyone, and welcome to the sixth episode of the event called Let's Ask Expert, where every month we try to have a conversation about various different soft skills that you, as the audience, are choosing. So please stay with us till the end of the meeting today. At the end, you will have an opportunity to select the topic for the episode 7. At the end of episode 5, you had the opportunity to vote for the topics of leadership, self-management, teamwork, confidence, adaptability, and majority of you, 46% of the audience, decided to actually cover the topic of confidence. And that's why the soft skills team of the Global BA community came up with an event inviting the experts from various different locations all over the world. And I would like to invite them to the stage right now to introduce themselves, starting with Ievgen Berezenko, the director from IPAM Spain, Malaga. So Ievgen, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hey, Ashu. Hi, colleagues. It's actually a pleasure to be here. Many thanks for that. I do believe that I can bring to the table some exciting stories of how do you go from having almost zero self-confidence, self-esteem, to having quite a lot of it, to maybe then trying to balance it a little bit, in professional and personal life alike. So yeah, many thanks for the invite. I look forward very much to contributing to this, colleagues.
And thank you so much for accepting the invitation. We also
Thank you.
have from Hungary, we have Agnes Kutasi, who is here with us, a trainer from the I Am Remarkable training session. Agnes, welcome.
Hi everyone, it's an honor to be here. I was very pleased when Jan reached out to me, absolutely unknown to each other that this session is coming. Yes, I'm with EPAM for seven plus almost 8 years by now, and I'm covering mergers acquisitions in the European region from people angle, and yeah. I also can relate to Yevgen about that confidence can be developed. But let's talk about it later. I'm a mother of two. I have two teenagers. I think that's important to mention here. Happily married, and I also am mentor, speaker, and volunteer, which I'm very proud of. And beside that, I'm in the people domain for actually during my entire career. Welcome, everyone.
Happy to have you here with us today. And last but not least, Jolanta Momot, Senior Delivery Manager from IPAM Kraków, Poland.
Hey guys, I'm Yola. I'm confident that I'm totally not confident when it comes to speaking about myself, but Jan forced me through really convoluted mechanics behind it. So let me tell you that for the last 20 years, I'm doing IT. I've been engineering manager, delivery manager, project manager. I love this job, and I am hoping to continue it until I retire, where then I'm going to become a writer or a comedian. I don't know. I'll think about it.
Well, I have to say, Yola, just to take our audience behind the stage for a second. When the audience selected the topic confidence, you were my first pick, and like my thoughts immediately went to you, thinking like, definitely you have to be an expert in this session. So those are our experts today. So there's nothing left for me to say, just to begin our conversation today. And let me start by asking you the first question that I have. And the first question I have for you is, how do you define confidence in your day-to-day work, both in, at EPAM or also in your private life outside of EPAM? How important is confidence for you? Maybe Yola, since you were the last to introduce yourself, maybe let's start with you with the answer.
Confidence to me, I like the dictionary definition of it. Confidence is that feeling that you can have a faith in something or you can rely on something. So in professional life, I think that's the reason why you think I'm confident, because in my professional life, I spend so much time on making sure that I educate myself and that whenever I do a project, I also get inputs from a lot of people that I can be confident when I go to meeting and present my solutions or talk about what are the options for us to do. But honestly, that confidence is really this. When I'm doing something, I want to make sure that I I can rely on this thing, that on the actions that I'm doing are also reliable, and that gives me the confidence. So that would be my definition.
Agi?
I forced myself not to check up the dictionary because I did not want to be biased by the theoretics. But I believe that it's very related to what Yola just mentioned. So for me, confidence is that I know that I can do something either because I have an experience about that, or I strongly believe that I have the skills and capabilities based on which I can do something. So it's like an experience, skills mixed with very strong belief.
Ievgen?
Yes,
Anything to add on the topic?
I also prefer not to follow the dictionary to an extent, because I mean, one word defined there might mean a whole plethora of different, let's say, grades of a certain concept to each and every particular person. So for me, it's about knowing yourself, like being able to, I would say, adequately estimate indeed your strengths, your weaknesses, your skills, and indeed following what kind of you believe is right, having that faith in yourself, in your skills, in others, in the world around you. So yeah, it's quite a complex concept and quite a combination of several different skills and aspects of it into one.
You've mentioned at the very beginning of your introduction that you started with no confidence and went to this whole confident person, right? So, as a second question, do you think there are people who can be born with the trait of confidence, or is it something that is grown, that is developed? How it happened in your particular case?
Yeah, if I may share a very personal story. So from my childhood, I cannot recall myself as a confident person. Furthermore, well, I think it could have been a combination, of the upbringing, of potentially, the certain legacy or the system, the state that we lived in. But to me, that was a state when, okay, you could not trust yourself, the people around you tomorrow to be what you expect it to be. So in order to overcome that, like in my particular case, well, I definitely spent a lot of time studying, and we're talking academic skills now, like mathematics, physics, like computer science, just to be confident in understanding like what to expect tomorrow, what can I really kind of bank on, what can I really like plan and see it happen instead of fail miserably. And then yes, in terms of actually boosting that soft skills part, right? Because however academically good you could be, however many books you may have read, whenever it comes into that social interaction sphere, that's the bit that you merely need to practice. So you need to meet people, you need to be kind of, genuinely interested in learning more about them, about the world. And that's what helps you build confidence, the buzzword, the one that we're talking about today, towards future interactions and towards like your future plans, goals, and other activities. It's been a long road for me, but indeed, having all that done before, yeah, that's helped a lot. And we can go into depth, but I don't want to steal time from the co-speakers. So back over to you, Yasim.
Yola, how it was in your case when it comes to developing the confidence, and when it comes to like, did you felt like a confident person at the very beginning of your IT career? Did it have to grow over time?
Okay, so I'm gonna start saying things that are not popular. When I was starting my IT career, I'm in Poland. It was 20 years ago, and I was there was 100 people in my university. 10 of them were girls, and it was the time where the women were still not so popular in this area. So I did hear sentences like, maybe you should better learn how to cook rather than do the IT stuff, or maybe you just came here just to find a husband. And I do remember this one specific classes where the guy asked me some question, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. And he was like, I do not really see the possibility for you to make a great career in IT based on this. And I'm like, okay, that's your perspective. I respect that. Thank you very much. And I sat down, and it was the classes where you actually had to do the programming. So at the end, you had to, after a year of classes, you had to turn in your project. And after this year of enduring all these amazing comments from the guy, I sat down and I showed him the project, and he was speechless. And he said this, you know what? I need to apologize to you. I really need to do that because in 5 years that I'm teaching that topic in the university, I have not seen a project done so well. And for me, that was okay, right? I was like not trying to show off to him, or I was not even trying to prove to him that I'm okay. But I knew that IT is something that I want to do because it's the most interesting thing that I have seen out of all the other topics that they showed me at school. So I had this self-assurance inside that this is the path that I want to go, and nothing that nobody else is going to tell me is going to change my opinions or what I want to do, because that's what I trust in. Unless I get some specific data that I can go and think about through my brain systems that will convince me that I should change, then I'm just gonna be doing my thing. I'm not harming anyone. I'm not doing anything to anybody. So I'm just going to be developing. So I think it's not even the confidence in this, in my understanding of confidence, but it's more like the focus that I had that brings this to me. I'm so interested about so many things around IT that I tend to spend a lot of time on learning, on building up the knowledge base. And then that comes to that vicious circle that because I know those things, I have tried those things in my work experience, then I can confidently say certain things. And that is just building on top of one another. But interestingly enough, I was also learning how to play the violin when I was a kid. And even though I spent like 6 years in the music school and then 4 more years playing in a band, I'm going to tell you, I'm still like, I'm not confident at all. Like it's always nerve-wracking when you stand there before you are going to play, and until you play, it's like I have zero confidence, and then when I start playing, I don't even think about confidence because it's so much fun. So
That music takes you away, right?
yes.
Mm. I know the feeling because I also, before appearing on the stage, it's kind of nerve-wracking, but then once on the stage, like, I'm already here. What bad can happen, right?
Exactly.
So let's take the most of it. But Agi, you're a trainer of the I Am Remarkable training session at the Learn portal. So anyone who is interested, feel free to go to learn.epam.com and find I Am Remarkable workshop. So as a trainer of this topic, I'm sure you must have great self-confidence.
Thank you for the credit. And I so much enjoyed what Ievgen and Gyula just shared, because it's so interesting to see 3 completely different stories about the same topic. So I had a very lively and happy childhood. I thought that, the world is mine, and I was very curious. I was experimenting everything. I did not care if something was if something failed. And then during my teenager lives, that is when I realized that basically that is where that blind spot becoming like black spot, and like realizing that, okay, knowledge is something that you must have be confident or to be authentic. So when you realize that, oh, there's such a lot of things that you do not know, then my confidence level kind of dropped significantly. And then I really enjoyed the university studies, and then I started working, and then I realized that, hey, I'm at the bottom of the, the hierarchy in an organization. Although I graduated from the best university in Hungary, so it was like a schizophrenic feeling. And I think what definitely helped me, my core personality, about this experimental attitude that, you cannot win if you do not try, and perhaps you will fail, but if you do not even try, then the chance is like zero that you will go and succeed. So and I'm coming from a very mixed family. So my sister, who is elder than me, she have very, very low self-esteem and low confidence, although she's a brilliant person. And we are coming from the same family, from the same parents. We were raised similarly. We have very close, like she's just 1.5 years elder than me, but still, I don't know, and I do not know why. But I'm like this and she's like that. But I still believe that no matter of your personality, you can build confidence and you can build self-esteem. And obviously it needs a lot of reflection, a lot of like look back and seeking for feedback and like analyzing the situations, no matter which situations. I can even learn from an absolutely not professional situation. I can learn something professional. So I think that this kind of openness, that a feedback is given due to a reason, and you must really appreciate feedback, and like not to start saying that, oh, but this was this or this was that, or it was because of him. No, just take the feedback, analyze it, and then you will realize your stake in the situation. And if you realize one, let's call it issue, and you reflect and you are open to kind of take the outside feedback, then definitely you will learn a lot.
You mentioned,
and this is what we also teach. Like, I'm sorry, just one sentence on the I am remarkable. I see Andrea on the call. At least I saw her, Andrea Schumann. She was the one, she was my I am remarkable trainer at EPAM, and she kind of convinced me to be a trainer. I mean, her training methodology, and she inspired me. So thank you.
Pass you the torch.
Yes.
Yola, you wanted to mention something?
Yeah, I wanted to actually mention a lot of things, but one thing that I wanted to focus on is because I saw on the chat somebody was mentioning about what if you don't have confidence, and then Agi started saying about, you have to try, you have to go out there. I think what is important to mention here is that, we talk a lot about standing out in front of people and doing presentations, and that this is confidence. That's not always necessarily a confidence, but it's the easiest, I think, the easiest example for everybody to go through. But what I wanted to share for this person who asked a question about what if you don't have the confidence, I had, this was one of the moments where I knew that my boss made a good decision when he promoted me to a manager position. I had this lady on my team. She was super timid lady. She was really talented, and she was doing amazing stuff that other people on the team didn't want to touch. She was changing the components, improving performance, like doing real magic. And I saw that, but she was so shy of standing in front of people and talking to them. And I remember for like more than a year, I was meeting with her on a weekly basis, and I was pushing her a little bit, not too much, not to the point that I would break her, but like to the point that she would have to talk to me face to face, and slowly but surely trying to build more and more confidence. And I finally told her one thing, that, you know what, you don't think about that you are performing for all these people and telling and trying to convince them to something. Just go and tell your own story. Tell them how you are building things, because then others can learn from you. And actually, after this year and a half, she did a presentation in front of 20 customers on a like really senior level, directors, and even one person from C-level. And she went to that room and she did exactly that. She was just explaining how she built things and how she changed things and how she was able to achieve those new amazing results. And I was so proud, like even more prouder than of any kind of presentation or situation like this one, for example, when I have to talk about being confident when I'm not. That was the best feeling and the best thing to see how she built up from not being able to even talk to me to being able to do a presentation. So thinking about what's my goal, and then trying different things. And like Agi said, you're going to get feedback. Not always it's going to be super positive, but it's
What you
not
can
the end
learn
of
from
the
it.
world. Exactly. It's just a learning experience.
Yeah, for me, this is also the same thing, that, getting out of the comfort zone. Like, I live in Gdynia, which is, by the seashore in the north of Poland. And being, of a younger age, I used to go basking on the street. So, I took the guitar, opened the case, and started to play and started to sing. And, people were judging me, were evaluating, who is this guy? Why is he doing this kind of thing? But at the same time, it kind of, helped me to get rid of the stage fright. Now that I'm, doing a conference appearance, or I play with my band a concert, it just kind of helps me, because I push the boundaries of what is accepted for me. But you've mentioned in your answers before about the knowledge, how important it is to have the knowledge. And Claudia Azula, in her book Becoming the Idea Machine, mentions that knowledge is the currency of the 21st century. The more ideas you will have, the more knowledge you will have, the easier it will be for you to make benefit from it. However, don't you think that sometimes the more knowledge you have, the more you doubt yourself, and that there is something in the saying that ignorance is bliss? Ievgen, what do you think about this statement?
Yeah, I totally agree, Yashu. So as we were talking earlier about, building up that confidence to the point by building knowledge, it is you get exactly the imposter syndrome. I think not at the very beginning of that path. At the very beginning, you could be kind of fearless, not realizing what it is you have to deal with. But as you dig deeper, as you uncover more knowledge, as you uncover more areas which you haven't even touched, that's when you actually start freaking out. I mean, the way it happened to me, I've never really, honestly, I can say this, in front of this audience, I've never, ever really aspired to do any kind of a managerial work. I've always thought I'd be happy as a technical expert, like I've started in technical support many years ago. To me, going on to do some managerial tasks, coordinating teams, resolving team issues, talking directly to the customers, that was like, okay, that's interesting. I should probably give it a try. And I gave it a try and I liked the experience. So I proceeded again to invest my time to build up my knowledge so that I would still have that confidence. And again, with more knowledge came a little bit more insecurity and came the desire to actually know everything, better, to do everything better. Here you might fall into a trap of a young manager, which is I do everything best by myself. So you keep doing everything yourself, plus all of the managerial tasks on top of your, let's say, day job, which we could call a technical or a hands-on job. Okay, don't fall into this trap. You will overload yourself. You will burn yourself. You will definitely lose. Confidence in the process.
I'm sorry. I thought that you finished.
Yeah. Sorry, Agnes. Just one comment. I saw some colleagues posted like very particular questions about overcoming insecurity, imposter syndrome about taking assessment. So I totally agree with Agnes here. Kutasi. You wouldn't know until you try. So if you find the right motivation, and if you find that strength to go and try it out now, go and try it out. If you don't quite feel that you have the motivation, like if you don't feel you're ready for that L3 assessment, just you can always kind of fall back. You can rethink, what's the goal? Why are you taking this for? Do you understand the actual expectations? What do you need to go for? Are you missing anything really? Do you need more preparation? Do you need, I don't know, a one-on-one mentoring? Do you need a coaching session? Do you need some sort of more working on the, let's say, the underlying basics? Build up your knowledge, for example, and then you come back to this task having the confidence that you can actually make it. So to me, again, it's all about preparation, and then it's about really estimating what it is you need to do. Already you are. Just get that freaking confidence and go out and try new things, guys. Over to you.
Getting things done. Yeah. Agi?
Yeah, and just back to Hannah's question. So Hannah, you've already have a goal that you want to go through an assessment. So actually, I think you are somewhere maybe in this already on the second stage, that you know that there's a gap, and that you should do something, and you still have 1 month to go. So now that, and you know what's the expectation, right? And you know your story, that what's your experience, what were your projects, what are the things that you've already achieved. So you better list all these positive things and like realize that, okay, what was my stake in those successes? Was it just coincidence that I was lucky in that or this or that project, or like me, Hannah, did I do something good to make that success happen? And if that's the case, and I'm sure that there are thousands of cases when you did something well, then you can realize that, okay, what's the pattern? So why certain things succeed and why certain thing doesn't succeed, and where doesn't succeed, that okay, what's the gap? So what is the thing that you need to learn or experiment, how Andrea said, is that and you try to you should experiment, you should accept that you will fail, because this is how we learn everything. Like a child was not born like being able to walk. So just imagine how many times a child fails until he can properly just simply walk. And walking, just it's a basic skill. For us as adults, walking doesn't seem like a big achievement, but come on, it was a big achievement for us. So like treat every single like goal what you want to achieve like the way how you learned how to walk, and don't be afraid. I can just relate to that as well, that you should practice and practice and practice. And if you can find someone who can just be your mirror, like if you're shy first, then just try in front of a mirror, just yourself, and speak loudly. And then like maybe a one step is that you find a friend close to you, or a mentor, or someone who you trust, who you accept feedback from. And then when you start, I don't know, practicing your interview or your assessment, that what will I say about myself, just say it out loud. And the more the practice, you will become more and more confident. And yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
I think there's also a very important lesson of the fact that we learn from failures, and there's this saying that there are no experienced sailors on the calm sea.
Yeah.
So the more turbulence we have in life, the more we can learn, the more lessons we can take from that. And also, from my point of view, a message to Hannah that, and actually for anyone who is afraid of going to assessment and being afraid of failing the assessment, think two things. One, how it will matter in 5 years' time, right? Like in worst case, you will just have the approach to reassess yourself. You will receive the feedback about what to improve. And second thing, on the video portal, you can find the meeting from the BA Community Gdańsk, where one of the participants of the assessment shared information what she learned from the failed assessment. That there are still lessons to take, on board. So you can find that on the video portal. I would also try to find that link and paste it in the chat for you afterwards. But going back to the topic of confidence, I would like to ask you also, because each and every one of you are from different country, from different origin, and would like to ask about the cultural aspect of confidence, meaning how it is perceived in your location, in your country, because sometimes, it can be identified as, oh, this person is so confident, worth talking to that person, or sometimes, oh, they're just so confident, and it's like kind of, pushing me away from having a conversation with them because they just, I don't know, are too, just too confident. So, Agi, how it is in Hungary?
I believe that Hungary is rather can be characterized about not the confidence, but about arrogance or pessimism. And I'm very sorry to say that. And I think it's so confidence is not a real trait in Hungary. We were not raised the way the education, the schooling system is not built up in a way where you learn confidence. You do not do those presentations which, for example, the Americans learned from the very beginning of their, even from kindergarten, they learn how to present themselves,
and stuff like that.
Yes, and small talk and all this stuff. So we do not learn these things. So whatever I gained, like culturally, I would say that has nothing to do with my original country. It is coming from my personality. And as I said, my sister, growing up in the same family, she would tell a completely different story about her journey. So I do not see that Hungary would be like at top of the most confident countries on earth.
Jola, what do you think? How it is in Poland?
To be honest, I don't think it's the culture that much that influences your own confidence, but certainly we do have different forms of expression of confidence in Poland or in the other countries, right? Americans are using very different words to demonstrate their achievements. In Poland, we're going to use very different words to show and be accepted when we are talking about our achievements or demonstrating our confidence. I was also thinking, just as Agi was talking about, Americans learn those self-presentations and going by themselves. I think it does make sense to me. And I was just thinking about my daughter. So since the COVID started and I work a little bit more from home, she has the ability to observe me when I'm doing the trainings and when I'm showing to people different things. And because of that, she does not have a problem to do her own presentations at school, right? And she even looks for those opportunities out there when she can show the things that she had built or she had created. She doesn't have a problem with it. So it's also, I think, not so much of a country culture, but the environment in which you are being brought up and what you are observing and what you are seeing is more acceptable, right? Or what is available to you on the market. I mean, I myself, when I finished primary school, I wouldn't think about doing the presentations, but since I started working for an American company, I was like, okay, this is what we are doing, so let me go ahead and do the similar thing.
Yeah, while in Rome, do what the Romans did, yeah?
Exactly.
Ievgen, you've been working at EPAM Ukraine, EPAM Poland, EPAM UK, EPAM Spain. How is it, across the countries, and how the confidence is being perceived there?
Yeah, very honestly, I see quite a big distinction, especially in working with British, in working with American people, in working a little bit more earlier in my career with India and the APAC region in general, that the way you are perceived, whatever you exude confidence or the lack of it, it definitely differs, right? Based on your background, based on kind of some built-in historical expectations. Again, I can fully relate, colleagues, to the points that were expressed earlier, about men and women, kind of different perception of, let's say, supposed best career, although we know that in the modern world you can be whoever you want to be, regardless. But indeed, so there would be expectations, say, set early in my childhood, which would dictate saying, okay, you have to be, the breadwinner for the family, you have to work hard, you have to earn, etc., etc. There was never an expectation about communication, about soft skills, about confidence. I cannot actually recall back in Ukraine, which was still Soviet Union when I was born, right? I can never recall really any sort of soft skill training, at least not in the school. And for the large part, not at the university. We didn't get like any counseling, we didn't get any assistance, no presentation skills whatsoever. So whatever people learned could have been from their peers, from their friends, from their colleagues, maybe a little bit from our professors, but I can still recall like most of the guys, they would come, on stage with a paper and they would just sit there reading something from a paper to the audience. So I can't say we've had a great example of that either. When I first started like my professional life, it came as a huge shock, that you're supposed to actually be talking to people, to present, to defend your point of view, to provide valid arguments, to counter some sort of manipulative or some sort of a disruptive behavior, especially on the customers, who of course are always right, but they're trying to achieve whatever their like objectives are. To me, it's a very thin line also between displaying that confidence and potentially seeming arrogant or overly self-confident in some cultures, right? So you're not expected to actually display the fact that you're confident, but still you could do taking into account respecting the norms and following the general, I would say, communication basic principles and of course your common sense. Yeah, thanks for the culture mapping.
Yes, that just rang a bell. I was facilitating a discussion about the culture map at EPAM. It was part of I think it was part of the culture week or one of the learning weeks, just in the last 1 year, I guess. And what you're talking about really resonates. That if you go to a certain country, based on the traditions, based on how people are raised, based on how the family structure is built up, that will influence a lot of things, how you communicate, how you present yourself. And by the way, confidence is there as well. So it's a very good book to read.
So you've mentioned already that there is this thin line between confidence and arrogance. So let me just ask you this: where is that thin line, and how to avoid crossing it, not to actually appear as an arrogant person?
And I start with that because I do believe that these are not the same dimensions. So confidence endpoint is low confidence or like being shy. For me, arrogance is a different dimension. If you are confident, you can still be humble. If you are confident, if you present your point of view in a kind way, which doesn't hurt anyone, then it's not it's not the same dimension. So if you are confident, you can still be arrogant and you can still be shy.
Okay.
That's my
perception. Yola?
I tend to agree with Aggie. I mean, being arrogant means that you are putting too much focus on yourself and that you think that you are worth more than you really are, and you are trying to rub it into everybody's face. So whenever you are seeing that this might be the case, then you should be trying to control yourself to not cross that thin line that you were talking about. And I completely agree with that. And even like you and I, Jan, have been discussing this, that you can be still confident because you understand what you have done, what you have achieved, who you are, because you have the data that is backing this up, and you still can be humble. You can ask other to give you feedback, or you can absolutely recognize that you have been part of the team that have achieved something, and you are still confident, but you are not being arrogant, right? So I would.
Ievgen, where the line between arrogance and
Yeah,
confidence?
colleagues,
Or,
I totally agree with with the two co-speakers that those are actually different dimensions. The perception, it's the one that matters. That's the one I've been mentored on, I would say, quite very recently, that the perception you may be causing could be wrong, right? If you overly display that confidence, or if you do not display the corresponding signs of humility, which is, yeah, again, one of our expected leadership traits for EPAM, right? Part of the HHS, Hungry, Humble, Smart model. So all in all, I totally believe it's about how you communicate, how you position yourself. Again, the cultural appropriateness, it might be different in an international environment like ours. It would have been totally different if I were given the speech to, say, a Spanish-speaking Spanish audience here locally in the native language, right? They would expect totally different body language, totally different gestures, totally different style of speech, tone of voice, etc. From me, to display confidence, which may have not actually been considered arrogant at all. Whatever I'd be doing here, I could be like, jumping or dancing, whatever. Yeah. So all in all, to me, it's about appropriateness, cultural appropriateness, but also the kind of the perception that you create with a particular behavior, which leads to you being classified as having that confidence, or again, another dimension, going into the arrogance space, where maybe some of the goodness that you bring along to the table could be blocked from the audience by having that wrong perception of you. So indeed,
like, it's being overshadowed. Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah. So it's not just about managing facts and behaviors; it's also about managing perceptions of the audience, of other people. Could be co-speakers in a different event, but here we're all like very, very well on the same page from what I can see. Thanks.
I've also noticed the fact because when you mentioned that at the school there is no trainings or no opportunities in our culture, at least, to practice those skills. And I now have a son. He's like 2 years old, and I just am amazed how talkative he is. That yesterday I was in the evening on a walk with him. He just walked up to four women standing on the street and just started having conversation with them about like that he saw an airplane on the sky, and they were just laughing at him. And I kind of think that sometimes we as parents are just like telling our child, saying like, shh, don't interrupt, don't be like this, and that we kill that possibility and that openness and that open-mindedness of the child, just because we don't want our child to interrupt other people, but at the same time we do not necessarily explain correctly where the border lies between what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. We just shush them and not explain what to do in that particular situation. Yeah, but just again, seeing a small child, like, he's so talkative that I think we all are born with that skill, and I think it's quite important to allow our kids to be who they want to be and just express themselves the way they want to express. Yes, Yola.
As a parent, it's your role to make sure that your kid is growing up to be a good kid, so good person. So yes, allow him to grow up to be whoever he wants to be, but you need to also steer them in the right direction, right? Maybe telling them, please don't interrupt anybody all the time is not the best solution, but telling them, hey, you know what, maybe you want to ask people if they have time to talk to you right now. That's a good option, right? So you're not killing the self-confidence, but you are teaching them about how to behave in a civilized world. So.
And also, Agnes, I saw that you were just, your eyes were sparkling up. You had a smile. Any comments on this?
Yeah, I mean, I love children, how free they are and how limitless their thinking is and how curious they are. And I think that that is what, in my experience, for example, the Hungarian education kind of kills in the children. And that is what I think is kind of the major issue. So I agree with Yola that you should teach your child the appropriate wording or the appropriate time for a discussion. But and don't forget that the thing they are asking, they are really valid things. So they are not asking bullshit. Usually, children are asking the real questions. I mean, literally every single day when I have a problem which I could not sort out during my workplace, I ask my children. I give them the situation, maybe not telling the entire story, but the struggle I have. And they sometimes ask so basic but so valid questions that actually takes me over it. I could have spent maybe 3 weeks on my own just trying to figure out, okay, what could be the solution, what could be. So just be open to children talk, because I mean, that's amazing. I used to say that so many countries' political and economical problems could be sorted out by putting together maybe 50 10-year-old child, and they would sort out.
There is this funny in the morning radio program in Poland. There is this part. Kids know better, when the reporter goes to kindergartens and is asking kids about various different, like what is marriage, what is, I don't know, what is family, what is budget, what is whatever, and just like kids in the kindergarten are providing answers which are sometimes hilarious to listen to, but at the same time there is some very basic wisdom from their just kind of innocent mindset and innocent point of view on the world. So that's also quite interesting to look at it from that standpoint of view. But talking about maybe not necessarily the children, but our employees here at EPAM, what we as the leaders, what we can do to empower the confidence. Of course, we have the L&D training sessions. We have a session like this where we try to empower people and share our experience about the soft skills in general. But what else as leaders, if you're, for example, a line manager, what things you can do to empower our people and to raise the confidence? Maybe Yola.
I think, what I do to help people to build the confidence is I spend quality one-on-one time with them, and I help them to understand why what they are doing is important. And I help them to discover what are their skills and traits that they can continue building on. So I will very frequently have conversations about, hey, I just observed that you've done something really cool on that meeting. And maybe this is something you want to continue investing in. And sometimes it's a very small thing, but it helps a person to open up and then shine. So that would be my advice. Just focus on the good stuff, on the interesting stuff that people are doing. Just ask some simple questions, and then you are going to be amazed on how you can help a person to grow.
Ievgen?
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely, regardless of whether you're a line manager, aka resource manager, engineering manager, delivery, whatever, in HR, it helps actually spending time with your colleagues to help address, realistically very practical tasks at hand. It might start with simple, how do I draft an efficient status report to the customer, right? Because some people just make it either too wordy and detailed or too irrelevant to what the customer, or maybe to what the other colleagues need to hear, to more towards, okay, how, very practical cases, like one of the colleagues, apologies, I don't remember, who was asking on chat, how do I pass an assessment? How do I prepare myself for a project interview? How do I resolve a conflict in the team? So it starts with small steps And then it goes towards, okay, how do I become a manager? How do I manage my current team, my current project, my current customer? How do I find new customers for EPAM, and so on and so forth? So of course, those would grow in complexity and scale as we go along. But I think we've already highlighted that enough, but I wouldn't stop highlighting this. It all starts with small steps. So small steps, getting out of your comfort zone. If you are currently an engineer in your current role, I'm sure there is some non-engineering stuff that you're doing. And if you're enjoying that work, if you'd really like to progress in EPAM, and if you'd like to grow your career and to expand your horizons, try out some new stuff. Try doing maybe more of the stuff that you like doing. Again, as long as it's not just engineering and that's it.
Yeah, never stop learning. Yeah,
never stop learning. Take on like other roles, like you could be a scrum master for the team. You could vouch as a proxy product owner if you're a VA. That's highly likely, etc., etc. People management could be yours for taking. And again, I'm sure there will be a person in your life, in your career, just like I had, those mentors, those coaches, those amazing managers, including those in EPAM, of course, that I'm immensely grateful to, who really helped clarify any doubts, who really helped open up some opportunities. Because unless you keep your hand raised, just like in this meeting, you could raise your hand. Unless you keep your hand raised, you wouldn't know what are the new opportunities coming. Because if you're just out there, working on your keyboard, busy bee, you'll just not see them. You'll just miss them. That's also something I very much encourage in the team. You see something that can be improved, raise your hand. You'd like to try something new, rotate out of the project, try a new role, try to do something on top of, or maybe instead of. Tell me, we will try to find a way.
This is something that I also keep saying, that EPAM is the land of opportunity. And there are just so many things that you can get involved in: interviewing, assessments, mentoring, learning sessions, doing some coaching, like creating an event like this, right?
Yeah, now with tons of open source stuff and AI related opportunities, you can do anything you like. You can be anyone you like in EPAM. That's a fact.
Yeah. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes. I saw that Alicia had her hand raised. Yeah.
Yes. That is what I wanted to call out. So Alicia, you wanted to say something or ask something.
Yeah, I already start typing, but I may tell this. We just have a similar session, coaching for confidence for women, and we ask the same question. And we noticed that their answer was that if the RM believe in them and provide the support, like emotional support, that they capable to manage the task, that they capable to achieve the goal. So it gives them a wings to achieve the goal. And this is a big help. And if the RM has doubts about the women capacity or skills or whatever, she also do not believe in herself. And this has ruined her self-confidence. So my advice would be just try to support female colleagues in your team and to give them this belief that they can make it.
I don't think it's only for the.
It's not only for women.
Because,
it's not only.
Yeah, possibly it's working for all genders. We just discuss it in a female group.
Yeah. I'm just from my own experience, I've been 20 years in IT and I've been doing many projects already at EPAM, 10 years here. But every time I'm reassigned to a brand new project, I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Like, am I the right person to do the job? Like, I've been performing well in the previous project. Now I'm here. I don't know the people. I don't know the process. So I start to doubt myself. That's, I also require some kind of guidance and support. But I have a question to our experts. One that's quite interesting also for me.
I'm sorry. Can I maybe just add one more thing?
Sure.
Because I think that's a completely different perspective what Jolanta and Ievgen said. So what I used to do still, not just like focusing on future, but like analyzing a successful story. So that what was my stake in it and why was it successful? What was that I did and my contribution made it a success? And I used to do it with my children, with my friends, with my colleagues, just to identify the strength, because I have my own opinion about this, going beyond the box and like thinking out of the box and going beyond. But I believe that if you do not have like this basic ground level of confidence of that, okay, what is my real contribution, then it's a very fragile ground and foundation. So even after a project is successful, just sit down and ask your colleague, okay, what did you do it? Why was it a success? And encourage them to speak out loud that, it was successful because I did this and this and this in this particular order. And then you can challenge them. Okay, what would you do differently in the future to make it even one step better than you did before?
And I think also Sergey mentioned in the chat that don't be discouraged by rejection, don't be discouraged by failure. You can also self-reflect on learned lessons and thinking what I can do. Not to be discouraged by the failure, but thinking, okay, what I can do next time to avoid this kind of situation, to take the lessons from that. And talking about the lessons from that, as we are approaching the end of the meeting, I will quickly share the screen just one more time with the Menti, and I will share the link in the chat for our audience to vote on the topic for the next session of the Let's Ask Experts. So anyone who is interested in voting, please join the Menti. But I have a question to you. Knowing what you know right now, what advice would you give to yourself, like your younger self, like 20 years younger, when it comes to the topic of confidence?
When one door closes, 20 other doors are being opened. And if you really want that door that closed, try some other ones and you're going to go to the same room, but through a different route.
Aggie?
I would say to myself is that don't be afraid of facing feedback, and be open for those, let it be negative or positive. Be open and don't protect yourself against those feedbacks, because that is what you can use for further success and learning.
Ievgen, what advice would you give to yourself if you had that opportunity, your younger self, 20 years ago?
Guys, just a couple of seconds for lyrics. So as a kid, I really loved the science fiction movies, all about getting back in time to change some historic events, etc. Now that I realize that with the current technology, I definitely wouldn't be able to meet my younger self, or at least if I were, I would not want, for the risk of, impacting other things, want to give any advice to my younger self. The only common sense, reasonable advice I would give would be, hey, keep it up, be yourself, you know what you're doing, you're doing great. Because I did have those moments when I was doubting a lot, like the direction of studies that I've chosen or the initial jobs that I've chosen, that I've applied for. So yeah, just keep it up, man.
Thank you so much for sharing those advices. I see that our audience has voted for the next topic, which will be self-management. So please stay tuned for notifications about the next event that will occur. And in regards to what also Ievgen mentioned, I received a very good advice from one of the delivery managers from EPAM that any decent human being always hopes to leave a positive impression on the world and always doubt themselves whether they were able to achieve that goal, right? So that's something that, let's hope that we all will be able to strive for excellence. As we are out of time, nothing left for me to say but to thank our experts today, Agnes, Jolanta, and Ievgen. It has been a great pleasure conducting this session for our audience today. I'm very appreciative of your answers. Also very thankful for all of the comments and chats that people provided today with us. Any closing words from you before we end the session, Agi?
Well, I just put it in the chat. I really appreciate the questions. It was a good reflection. I think we could play it with our partners or colleagues, like asking these kind of questions. So appreciate again the chance that I could be here. Thank you.
Yola?
Thank you so much for having me. It was lots of fun, and now I'm a little bit more confident than what I was at the beginning. And I just wanted to say to everyone, you know, I have those moments where I'm starting to doubt in myself, but then I also have a strong network of support, and I can always have friends or colleagues that I can call who believe in me, and they can fix my self-confidence. So then I'm able to do events like this. Thank you.
Ievgen?
Yeah, colleagues, remember, despite all ups and downs, as they say, every cloud has a silver lining. So I'm fairly certain that not only the economic cycles, but the entire life activity can be, you know, cyclical. It can have cycles. It can have ups and downs. So if you're currently down, you should believe there will be an up. If you're currently up, well, keep it up. keep it on the positive bit. Don't think about the down bit. Right. So good luck, colleagues, in trying to build that confidence, in trying to make the best out of each and every one of yourselves.
And remember, IPAM is the land of opportunity. So let's all together, acting as a team, strive for excellence, focusing on our customer. And I wish everyone a wonderful rest of the day. And I do hope to see you again in the next episode of Let's Ask Expert session. Please take good care of yourself. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in, colleagues, and
Thank
many
you, everyone.
thanks,
Thank
Yashu
you.
and co-speakers, for an amazing session. Thank you, guys.
Thank
You're
you.
great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye-bye.